What's up? Welcome back. It is Monday, November 7th. November 7th. Yesterday was November 6th, and it was also week 9. Sit tight, because I might talk about your team here, might get under your skin a little bit, but it's not my intention. So, how have you been? Week 9 was crazy. There was a lot of games that I thought were closer than they should have been. There was a lot of teams that lost that I really thought should have won. Low-key think the Saints are going to win. Low-key, I like them tonight. I think Dalton's been playing really good. Look, I don't think people are giving enough credit. I think they're in a much better position than they are right now than they would be if they had Jameis in there. So we're going to start Green Bay, Detroit. Why? Why? Sometimes you ask yourself, why? That's what I just asked. Why? The Packers had 3 good drives stopped by the worst defense in the league. That's not even an exaggeration. Literally the worst defense. The worst red zone defense in the Lions. Rodgers threw 2 interceptions and another one that was really close to the red zone. There were 2 in the red zone. First time he's ever done that in his career, by the way. Yeah, that was the most bizarre game I've seen involving Aaron Rodgers because of how uncharacteristic it was of him. He just doesn't make those mistakes. And the thing that's apparent about Green Bay now is that they stall so much, so poorly. They can't convert on third down, and they weren't terrible in the red zone up until yesterday, which it was very bad. Rookie Kirby Joseph got the first pick, who I really loved. Coming out of the draft. Aiden Hutchinson got a pick, a D lineman. Michigan man got a pick, and the third pick was by Kirby Joseph again. So it was a pick party for the rookies. Sauce Gardner got in on the action. How good is Sauce Gardner? I honestly did not think he'd be that good coming in. I knew he was going to be good. He didn't allow a touchdown in college, but dude, he is playing really good. A lot of rookies got picks yesterday. The Lions defense looked like they looked like the Jets defense, and last year that would be a terrible thing to compare him to, but no, not this year. Jets are making Josh Allen look like a fool. Happens. Aaron Rodgers, back-to-back MVP, and he's got no answers. He's got none. It's a problem because he's on an offense that is predicated on rhythm and, staying ahead of the chains and stuff like that. And when they had Devontae, they had a natural man beater. They had a guy that they can get bailed out because of him. He bailed them out on many situations. Third down, that's the guy you go to. That's why he got so many targets, so many catches. And when you don't have that, when you don't have a natural man beater who is so good at beating coverages and draws coverages and makes the defense play him, maybe double team him, defenses, they adjust quicker, so you have to come up with other ways to beat man coverage, other ways to avoid, to exploit zones, and they don't have that guy that can do that naturally by just him being on the field because he's so good. They don't have a Devontae Adams anymore, so they have no way to adjust. When they get out of their script, they're fucked. They're quite literally fucked. Royally fucked. Royally. And that's about the highest amount. That's the highest fucking that you can get. Royally. You can't get fucked better than that. Royally fucked. And that's what Rodgers has gotten, unfortunately. Give credit to the Lions, though. They got their flowers, or whatever that saying is, however you say it. They got their flower. I assume they got asked to prom. Perhaps they got an orchid of some kind or a bouquet of roses. But they got their flowers, that's for sure. It was pretty impressive by the worst defense in the league, arguably the worst team in the league. And they beat the Packers and handed them their 6th straight loss. That's tough. But Justin Fields, man, what a show by 2 QBs who have gotten unnecessary disrespect because the NFL media and the fans, they got unnecessarily high standards for how quarterbacks should play. I love Tua and I love Justin Fields, and I liked them coming out of college. I always thought that they were really good. When I feel that way because when they got thrown into the fire, they played well, especially Justin Fields, who kept them in games against pretty good teams when they were a bad team. And Justin Fields is doing more with less. He's the Dolphins, like, it's kind of like the same thing with Cincinnati. They are not going to have the best record, but they're so explosive that they're probably the biggest threat to Buffalo and Kansas City in the AFC. I believe so, because they're just faster than them. They're as fast as everyone else, and they're explosive, and that's what Buffalo and Kansas City is. And I can't think of another offense that is as explosive as Miami, besides, you know, those other two teams. Maybe Cincinnati when they get Jamar back. But, yeah, I think it's a credit to Mike McDaniel. They're really good. Same thing with Eberflus and Luke Getsy. It's a testament to them that they're in good hands now. You got Justin Fields. You got a good coach, I believe. You got a handful of draft picks, and you got money to spend. So that's a good thing, you know. Don't go spending it on that Chicago deep dish pizza like anybody who eat that. That's fucking terrible. Honestly, if you eat that kind of pizza, you're probably a Bears fan, which also sucks. So there's two things that suck about you, is that you're a Bears fan and you eat Chicago deep dish. What I would do if I were the Bears, I'd trade for a star receiver if I could. Again, they traded for Claypool being a star, you know, or draft. See if you can get the best receiver in the draft, and your offense is already 10 times better than it was, because we saw what Jamar Chase can do. We saw what Justin Jefferson can do. Open it up. You open up everything for every other player, for Claypool, for Mooney, for Kmet, for Fields. Like, it just opens up your offense because it allows you to do so many other things that, you know, you can't do now, even though their offense is playing pretty decent. I feel like they gave up on their defense a little bit. They're trying to rebuild the secondary, and I think they're just happy with some young pieces that they got on the D-line and linebackers. So I think they're going to go in free agency and go to that and adjust the defense there. And the Bills and Jets, oh my God. I'm from New Jersey, man. And, you know, I'm a Niner fan, but I like the Giants. But, sometimes, the Jets, if they're playing good, I'm happy to see the Jets play good. And I got a lot of friends who are Jets fans. And Buffalo Bills, what happened? What happened? I don't know what to think. The Bills have some red zone issues, turnover issues, like Josh Allen been turning the ball over a lot. The offense as a whole really has been turning the ball over. It's been, and that's been the difference in these one-score games that Buffalo's been in. As you move on late in the season, Diggs is going to get taken out more and more, and you have to find somebody to step up and make the play. And, Gabe Davis hasn't really been able to do that. McKenzie, kinda, not really. Dawson Knox, not really. And the running game is Josh Allen and sometimes James Cook and Singletary. But, without Diggs, that's like, a really big loss for them, because I feel like when he gets taken out, their offense really struggles, like really stalls. Like when they're not able to hit those those routes over the top, or even if they're not really able to hit them underneath. Like usually if they can get stuff going underneath, like they're a lot more dangerous. That's why when they had Beasley and Emmanuel Sanders last year, they were a lot more explosive. I feel like because Beasley and Sanders were really good at that short stuff, and they were very good crisp route runners. So they are struggling a bit. Gabe Davis, where you at? Step up, dude. The Bills players said that they wouldn't allow Gabe Davis to date their sister. And, I don't know why, but maybe that's the reason Josh Allen ain't targeting him, because he's talking to Josh Allen's sister. That, it's probably not the case, maybe, but if it was, that would be pretty hilarious, and maybe Josh ain't liking it too much. He's talking to his sister, and, he's not getting targeted. And obviously, talking to a teammate's sister, that's an absolute power move. It's savage beyond measure. Honestly, it's probably the most savage thing that you can do. I'm not saying that that's what's going on. I'm not saying that's what's going on. I'm not trying to gaslight. But I'm just saying that would be hilarious. Davis, that would make you a savage. Quite honestly. Some of the more 1 o'clock games. Oh, yeah, and the Jets. I want to talk about the Jets, bro. Say what you want. Zach Wilson, He's finding ways. He's outplaying these teams in close games, man. And sometimes he may not play great. He played better, but he's finding ways to win, you know? And it's, you know, sometimes you can't say that about a lot of quarterbacks, but he got a good defense, got a good running game, even without Breece Hall. And give credit to that defense, man. Like, Gardner, that secondary is playing outstanding, and rightfully so, because they got good players. It's not just sauce, dude. They got Whitehead, they got DJ Reed, they got a lot of good players, man. Credit to the Jets, Jets. Just end the season. Nah, keep the season going, because they're about to take flight on your ass, boy. Josh Allen, he got fucked, just like Aaron Rodgers did. Sorry. More 1 o'clock games. I give credit to Herbert for bringing the team back. He didn't have Mike Williams. He didn't have Keenan Allen. He was working with Josh Palmer as the number 1 receiver and Eckler, and he did it. He got it done late. The Bengals, I said they needed to give Joe Mixon the ball more. They gave him the ball more. He had 5 touchdowns. I honestly never thought in a million years that would happen, but Panthers moment. What can I say? I honestly thought Chase was like the make or break for that offense, but it's not. They showed yesterday that they can rely on Mixon and others, and they got the ball and they got the job done. And that's what it needs to take for these next few games. Just keep the rhythm going, get Mixon the ball as much as you can. He's probably your second best offensive player, skill player. And they beat Carolina because they should beat Carolina, not because it was, you know, like a fluke game. They beat them because they should, you know, because they're just that much better. It wasn't close, even though I thought it was going to be, but that's how it should have been. The Seahawks, dude, I honestly thought I wouldn't have to worry about them at all, but, you know, turns out it's not the case. Turns out Geno Smith is like, just got resurrected. Like Michael Myers. He literally keeps coming back. Except for this one. He only came back this one time. This was only the first time that he came back. So maybe he's going to get cut by Seattle next year, then sign with, like, the Texans, and then he's going to take them to the fucking Super Bowl. The Seahawks, they were projected to be really bad, which I didn't even agree with. PFF ranked them as the worst offensive line, which I also didn't agree with. They have the offensive rookie of the year and the defensive rookie of the year, arguably. Kenneth Walker and Tariq Woolen. You know, the defense takes the ball away. It's playing good. And the offense, they didn't really change a lot after Wilson left. Geno Smith is kind of doing the same thing he did. A lot of bootleg stuff, a lot of one half of the field reads, making it simple, keeping the offense balanced. Pete Carroll's always going to be about the running game, playing good defense, preventing big plays, and that's what they've done. They just haven't let offenses get big plays on them. They've just been wreaking havoc over the past month, and honestly, it's pretty impressive because I didn't think they would be that bad that people thought. We expected. They're 6-3, and they're leading the division right now, which is kind of crazy. I'm losing sleep over Geno. I see him when I close my eyes. I see him. Oh my god. I'm just being honest, and he haunts my dreams. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? I used to meme on him a few years ago because he was just the most random player. Me and my friends would just make fun of Geno Smith, and now he's getting the last laugh. They wrote him off, but he ain't right back. Tom Brady and the Buccaneers and the Rams. God, that game was so boring. I got my prediction right pretty much. I had 17-10 Tampa Bay, but it was 16-13, close enough. The problems that these teams have, that the teams have, are inexcusable. I just want to start off with that. I don't think these problems are fixable in terms of like they're gonna go back to looking like how they did last year. But I do think that they can improve. We saw a glimpse where Stafford threw a deep ball to Kupp. They got a big play finally. Robinson's getting involved a little more. Their running game looked a little better. Like their defense is good, but they're just not doing that one extra drive that they need. Dude, their defense is really good. They're really not allowing that many points, but they just can't get past 14 points. Dude, the Rams have not scored more than 14, like 3 of the last 4, I'm pretty sure. It looked like all hope was lost. Drops, penalties, line can't protect. Brady has to force it, which, means that they can't get big plays because he's got to get rid of the ball quickly. All hope was lost except for the final seconds. Did you really think that Thomas Edward Patrick Brady was going to go 3 games under 500 for the first time in his career? I didn't think that. And guess what? I was right, because he's Tom Brady. The man that literally divorced his supermodel wife to chase another ring, to chase a piece of jewelry, which, again, power move. Absolute power move. Not for a second in any one-score game am I going to count Tom Brady out. And I knew right there all he needed was that last drive. Scotty Miller, K. Dotton, and they won in 60 seconds. I don't even know if it was a minute. I think it was less than a minute. They drove with no timeouts, the length of the field, and that was Tom Brady at his best. Like I said, they have a lot of problems, but maybe, just maybe, they can carry that momentum all the way through the rest of the year, and I think it'll be really cool to see. Sunday Night Football. Dude, Malik Willis and Tom Brady. Oh, that would be a good one. Imagine that. Malik Willis and Tom Brady. They probably pull out a stat like, oh, Malik Willis wasn't even born when Tom Brady got... You remember the one where they pulled up Phillip Rivers and Joe Burrow and they compared how many kids they had? What the fuck was that? What was that? That was funny. I'm not complaining about it, but it was just like, why? And well, good thing Malik Willis and Patrick Mahomes, the age gap wasn't that great, but the success gap has been great. And Tennessee did some good things. Sometimes you got to get the lucky bounces too, which they did. They got a few takeaways, but the most important thing is they made Mahomes uncomfortable. One, you're able to get big plays of your own, which they did with Derrick Henry a few times. Kept the clock moving. You get takeaways, which they did, and you get pressure on Mahomes, which they did really, really well. Like that was probably the most I've seen him under pressure since the Super Bowl, which says a lot because that was 2 seasons ago. And that's, like I said, that's always the way to beat Kansas City. But the problem is, it's no secret, but the problem is that they could score 3 touchdowns in 4 minutes. Doesn't matter. And teams can't keep up with that because they're so explosive. They don't have Tyreek anymore, but they're still as explosive, which is scary. Entering the fourth, Malik Willis threw had 4 completed passes. They were up 17-9, and I knew right there, I remember saying to myself, I was like, okay, they're not going to score another point. I knew right there. I just had a feeling that, dude, they got 17 with Malik throwing 10, completing 4 passes, dude, and they have 17 points. That's it. They're not getting more than 17, so they got to keep Kansas City out. And that 3rd and 17 on the final drive before overtime, I knew right away. I was like, dude, they won. When he converted that 3rd and 17, I was like, that's it. That's what he does. He converts these 3rd and longs, and then they win the Super Bowl. He did it, and he's gonna do it, and he did it again here. It was just so annoying because I hate seeing Mahomes come back because it happens all the time, and it's like I want the underdog to win for once, but give the defense credit. Mike Vrabel came in with a great game plan. He had their guys playing hard. They honestly should have won that game, but they couldn't handle the heat. Couldn't handle the southern heat. Tennessee choked. They choked on that Kansas City barbecue. Couldn't handle that southern brisket in their mouth. They woke up feeling like it was time to tighten the fuck down. Sorry. Tighten up, more like tighten down, because you lost. Sorry, brother. I hate seeing Mahomes win, but, what are you going to do? It's almost insulting. It's like you get this lead and you're basically, as a fan, I think this all the time when I see teams with the lead. I wonder if their fans are thinking to themselves, we just lost. We have a 10-point lead. That means we lost. This is the only player, and Tom Brady, that you get a lead on them and that pretty much means you lost because you're not going to have this lead forever, especially if your offense keeps stalling. And just to see him throw it 65 times and really not play his best game at all just shows you what kind of coach Andy Reid is and what kind of coach Spagnuolo is to have their team playing hard. It's impressive, man, and that's why they're so good. They just do it better than so many other teams. Sometimes you just can't make excuses and you just got to work with what you got, and they work with what they got every time. They drop some games like teams do, but they win more. So It's just the Chiefs for you. That's the NFL. The more things change, the more they stay the same. That's what I say all the time. Yeah, a lot of good games. Good game tonight. I think it's going to be a close one. Yeah. I got a interesting episode tomorrow for those who are watching. It's on Dameon Pierce, my favorite running back. Thanks for tuning in. It was a week 9. Just a little review real quick. And I'll see you next time. Follow the Deep Ball on Instagram. Best football Instagram account on the planet. I really mean that. I'm not just saying that because it's mine. I'm saying that because I believe it. So, thanks for watching. And I'll see you next time. Tomorrow. I'll see you tomorrow.